Everyone, this is the AXL team. We wanted to offer a quick demo of how you would be able to use Satellite to transfer ERC20 tokens across AXLR's hub of supported blockchains. As of today, we have 23 blockchains that are supported. 7 of them are within the EVM ecosystem, with the balance of them within the Cosmos universe. The site for Satellite is simply satellite.money, and here you can see on my screen that you're able to quite simply select your source and destination chains along with the token that you would like to transfer. So that's in the widget itself. But before we go into the main demo, maybe just a quick walkthrough of some of the helpful resources that are available on this site. The first of which is, if you've not used this site before, if you want to experiment in our testnet or with testnet tokens, we do have a testnet version of that, and the link for that is here. So clicking there, you'll see that you'll be linked up to testnet.satellite.money with the same source, destination, and asset selected for you at the start. But going back to our mainnet resource, we here again at satellite.money, what I'd like to do in this demo is transfer USDC from Ethereum to Osmosis, as you see on the screen. You can pick your selected token in the drop down as shown here, or we do have what we see as some of the common flows that users have seen. So if you click on these top flows here, there are some which you should be able to use to kind of pre-populate your selected choices. So another one is transferring AXL tokens from Ethereum to Osmosis. But again, for the purpose of this demo, going to go with the USDC selection. And the supported blockchains, if you just open up this drop down, you see the full list here listed in alphabetical order. So with those selections made, I'm going to go ahead and connect some wallets. A note on wallet connections: you don't actually have to connect a wallet. You can certainly trigger the flow of this transaction the entire way through with exchange accounts or exchange addresses that you import from elsewhere. For ease of use, though, we allow you to kind of hook into a couple of supported wallets that we have as of today, which are for everything within our EVM ecosystems. We primarily support MetaMask, and for those in the Cosmos ecosystem, including AXLR, we primarily use the Kepler wallet integration for those transactions. So as I'm transferring to Osmosis, you see here you can pre-populate the destination address with the address that I'm just going to grab from my attached Kepler wallet to Satellite. And here, because my source chain is Ethereum, I'm going to connect my MetaMask to see what my upfront balance is of that. So just clicking these connection options here. There we go. So we see we have roughly a couple hundred USDC in this transfer. Once you have those selections made, you see that there's some informational material. The cost that is incurred in relaying this transaction from Ethereum to Osmosis is 10.5 USDC. And we see that the transaction wait time in this case, given that we're coming from Ethereum, which can take a little bit longer, would be roughly 15 minutes or so. It is different per chain, as is the relay or gas fee per chain. So if I change this source chain, for example, to Avalanche, we see that the fee is a little bit less, and the wait time is a little bit faster versus our Ethereum scenario. So actually, for the sake of this demo, let me actually go ahead and do the transfer from Avalanche to Osmosis, and just because of the quicker turnaround in this transaction flow. So going to generate a deposit address. Oh, I have to enter an amount. So let me enter an amount that's greater than the min. So 5 USDC. You see here that I'm generating a deposit address. What our network does is it generates a unique deposit address for a transaction that is initiated. And once you make your deposit into that deposit address, our network kicks in and facilitates the transfer all the way to your destination chain. So once you make your deposit, after the address is generated, it'll just be a few minutes before the funds would appropriately appear in your destination address. You see here, after I clicked Get Deposit Address, there's this little warning label that popped up that that makes sure that you're sending the right asset into the deposit address. So here we're saying the asset that you should send is this one with its corresponding contract address, and the balance of that in my connected wallet via MetaMask is this 328. This just gives you an assurance that you're sending the right asset into this deposit address that you are making this transfer for. So I'm just going to make my confirmations, and here if we scroll down a little bit, you could trigger all of this from MetaMask. So clicking there, switching to Avalanche as my source chain. Just a couple of things to note here. You see that my deposit address is this one that ends CAA, which corresponds to the prompt that comes up in my MetaMask screen with this 5 USDC token that I'm selecting to transfer. So I'm going to hit confirm. And this is just waiting for the transaction to get processed on the source chain, so on Avalanche in this case, before we actually send it into our network and transfer it fully to the destination chain in question. And while that's processing, we see that there are links here to various things. One, if you want to copy and paste the deposit address, that's available to you. And this deposit confirmation here would link you to the source chain transaction hash of the deposit that you will have made. So you see that transaction detail listed here on Snowtrace. So this will only be a few minutes more, but while that is completing, just walking through a couple of other helpful resources on the site. One, if you click Getting Started, you see just some helpful getting started resources here, including a link to this video that we're walking through now. There's a Medium step-by-step guide that has it for you in text and pictures. A link to all of our supported token contracts and channel IDs within our docs, as well as information on the minimum transfer amounts that correspond to the relay or gas fees that we saw in that window when we started the transaction. So that's that. In terms of, and you see my transfer already completed here in this window. But going to support, in case issues do come up, we have a thriving community within Discord and Twitter that you are encouraged to join in case you have any questions, feedback, or obviously issues on any satellite usage. So the resources are all linked here. What we also have here is the ability to file a ticket in case the Discord community doesn't give you a response right away. There's the ability to file a Zendesk ticket where the core team at AXLR would be able to help you diagnose that issue more deeply. There's also this link to transaction history. This links you up directly to our AXLR scan, where you can search by things like your destination address or your deposit address, and you can see the full history of transactions that are generated for those addresses in question. So that's that. There are pools here as well. So for the assets that we have across various chains, there's information here on swap pools that we support and have instantiated. So all of that is within this blog article here. For your perusal. And that's about it. It might be worth going through the opposite flow at this point. So let me actually hit start over here. I'm going to switch my chains and going now from not an EVM to a Cosmos-based chain, but the reverse, right? So I'm going from Osmosis to, let's actually have this going back to Ethereum. Right, okay. So you see my connected Osmosis account through my Kepler wallet has roughly 1,000 USDC. My minimum transfer amount escalated to the 10.5 because we're transferring to Ethereum in this case. So I'm going to transfer 25. This is going to this autofilled MetaMask address, which is my connected wallet, hitting this generate deposit address button, which would take a few seconds to load that deposit address. This is just a warning saying if the recipient chain doesn't support the asset, you want to make sure that it does before you make any deposits into your deposit address, so making that confirmation here. One thing to flag in this opposite flow, in going from a Cosmos-based chain to some other chain, but having your Cosmos-based chain as your source chain, is the fact that the deposit address that you generate is in fact an AXL prefix deposit address. You can see that in the first 5 letters here. So the deposit that you're making in this case is actually an IBC transfer from that source chain in question to an AXL account, right? So if you, and it's all wired up within Satellite, so if we go ahead and hit send from Kepler, you'll see my Kepler pop-up show up indicating that, yeah, what I want to do is actually send the 25 USDC via IBC transfer to this deposit address in question, right, that you see. Oh, where did that go? Click the wrong button, okay. Yeah, so we're going to this deposit address corresponding to this channel ID, which is the channel that goes from osmosis to AXLR in this case. So making that approval. And this will just take a second or two to have the transaction confirmation appear. So yeah, we see that here our network detected the transfer into that deposit address on osmosis, and now it's propagating through our network and ultimately through to your Ethereum, your designated Ethereum account, represented by this destination address here. So we don't have to wait for this transaction to complete, but that is all we wanted to summarize in this demo here. Again, Satellite, you can use it to transfer ERC tokens that we support at the network level across any of our supported chains that are across the EVM ecosystem, or alternatively the Cosmos-based ecosystem. Again, as of September 2022, we're at roughly 23 blockchain ecosystems, but that number is expected to grow. So thanks for your time and thanks for watching.